If you are doing hard surface in ZBrush, I highly recommend that you spend some time learning how live booleans work. This is really one of the coolest features when it comes to ZBrush. And if you've been using booleans in other software, you're not going to know how much of a pain they can be. But in ZBrush, they're actually really good. Now, keep in mind, the geometry is still going to be broken as hell. But it's live, the result is live. So it means that you can very easily change it around and you can use it for concepting. It's also very easy to use live booleans. Live booleans can be used if you have a piece of geometry like this, and we can now duplicate it. So now we have two of these of this cylinder. Now we can just scale it up a little bit like this. And the way it works is that the top is the master, and whatever is below it is going to be cut from it or added to it. So now if we click on, see the subtools here? We have a few different icons. We're going to click on this one here. This is going to subtract it to it. This is going to subtract the bottom one from the top one. Now nothing has happened yet, and why is that? Well, that's because we haven't activated the Boolean tool yet. The way we do this is if we go up here to top left, live Boolean, and now you can see, boom, we have now activated our Booleans. So this is an incredibly useful tool. If we hit Shift F, you can now see the geometry you're working with, and you can now just see how well it cuts it away. It just takes no time at all to do this, and it's just crazy fast. If you want to find this button, you can go under Render Boolean, and it lives right here as well. So really useful stuff. Now, how do we convert this to actual geometry? Now that we're done with the model and we are fully ready to commit to this, let's actually just add another one here. And we can just show how I can combine different shapes. Boolean, and there we go. Now if you want this shape here to actually be a full 3D model, we can easily do this as well. If you go to Subtool, Boolean, and make Boolean Mesh, click it. Now we can see we have this mesh right here. Now this mesh is going to be absolutely awful. If we hit Shift F now, you can see what happens. This is not an anywhere workable topology. You can make it workable with a lot of work, but this here is meant for concepting. If we Control D now, you can see what happens. You know, you absolutely can't work on top of this. What you can do, you can convert it to polygons or workable topology with zero measure. So if we click this, now you can see that we get some nice workable topology. Still not great, and you know, it's nowhere near what this would look like if we actually had proper topology from it, but it's a good step in the right direction, at least when it comes to having something which is more workable on. Now you can actually sculpt on it, and you can all sorts of stuff to it. Let's show you some other examples as well, though, of live booleans. This is a pretty cool one. So here we made some kind of perforated tube. This might be a gun barrel or something like that. So let's give you a quick breakdown of it. So here we have a single mesh like this, which has been created very easily using CModeler. This is just a cylinder, which has just been moved out essentially. It's just been, I just took one part of it, moved it out, took another part of it, moved it out, and then just bridged it in the middle. So very nice and easy. And then I just moved it out, or just extruded it out like so. Then I went through it. And then we are using array mesh, like we went through in one of the other chapters. So now you can see here with array mesh, we can just add more segments to it. We can add less segments to it. And we can just see that we can very quickly design this on the fly. This would be very hard to do in other software, because now we're combining live booleans with array mesh. It's an crazy powerful tool. We also have another one here as well, which is the same one, just that I've rotated it 90 degrees. So really nice and easy. And then we now have a model like this, which is ready for concepting. Obviously, you have to retopologize and all that, but it means that you can now start to work with this right away if you want to do a gun barrel or something like that. It's good enough to start illustration. And again, we can hit make live Boolean. Here you can see the result of that, which looks absolutely awful in terms of topology, but it's still pretty decent in terms of how quickly we can get it. Here's another example as well, which I think is a funny one. So here we have an anatomy model. You can find this model here under Lightbox tool, and it's Ryan Kingsley anatomy model right here. So just double click this to get in. So what am I using live booleans for here? Well, check this out. Here we have a shape which This is a cube, like this. And the cube just moves down, and it gives us this really nice intersection. Let's do this, and let's angle it a little bit. Okay, so now you can see it better. Now you can see this really awesome intersection of the body, or like a cross section. It looks like a CT scan, and it just really quickly just looks like a medical illustration. So this is incredibly cool, and you wouldn't really be able to do this without a live Boolean. That would be a real pain to do. So highly recommend looking into live Boolean. Incredibly powerful tool, really super easy to use. Again, it works based on the concept that this is the top, this is the master, and you see the ones below it has this set to subtract. So now it's just going to be set to subtract. You can also set it to the other settings here as well, like the intersection one. And we just get these really interesting shapes right away. So check out live Booleans.